One of my favorite features in Canva is the resize option. Resize, or magic resize as it's called in Canva, is in the top left corner of your screen, and you'll see that it has a crown next to it. Quick tip, anything with a crown means that it is part of the pro version of Canva, and you have to have a paid version of Canva to use this. So I have a slide deck. This is the slide deck that Christy Tucker and I did for Training Magazine around our portfolio course. And I want to turn this into a handout. So the fastest way to do that is to select on Resize and then select Flyer. Now, mine's already here because I use it all the time. If it wasn't, I would just search for it and then I would find it in the list and click it. Once I do that, I have two options. I can resize this design itself, or I can copy and resize. Now, in this case, I would not want to resize this because I want to be able to use my slide deck and my slides for my presentation. So I'm going to copy and resize. What it's going to do is it's going to take all of my elements and turn them into pages in a workbook. And then from there, I can open that file and I can rename the file. I always go and do that first. So I'm just going to call this, I've already done this before, so I'm going to just call this test. And then I always take this last part out of the title as well up here at the top. And so now I can just resize this the way that I can just move things around and structure them the way I want them. So for me, I like to stay within this pink line. You see that pink line? I like to stay within that space so that I'm sure that it's going to print really nicely. And now I can just move some things around and modify what I need to modify. I can also then move some of this content if I highlight all of it and select Control X for cut. And then I go up to my page and Control V to paste, just like Word. I can bring this over, and I like to line this up with that pink line. Sometimes it's kind of hard to spot it there. And then I can move these elements over a touch. And I'm just using my arrow to do that. So now I can go through and create my workbook, and I thought I would just show you what that looks like. So once I did that, I actually added this footer to all of my pages, and then I repositioned all of my content just to condense it a little bit. So if you look at the original, you'll see I've got an empty page here. I would delete that. I would move all this content up. I would left justify this the way I wanted it. And then I would go in here and I would add the footer. And I'm very lazy, so I typically find a footer from one of my other workbooks and I copy and paste it. If I hit Control C on my keyboard, then I go back to this sample, and then I can just paste that. If I'm on the page, let me do this right. If I'm on the page, the full page is in view, then it'll actually paste it really nicely right where I want it to go. It's got a page number, and I'm off and running. So this is the final version of our workbook. You can see how I consolidated it with all of our content. And Resize is a really wonderful way to create your handouts. It is so much faster than doing them in Word or moving them from PowerPoint to Word, because they just don't pull all your content and there's tons of copying and pasting. This is such a more efficient way.